Welcome to Orion Outreach. I am very happy to have guests here today from Young Life, which is a brand new outreach program for the Orion area. So my guests today on this end are Chad and Tracy and Jared and Erica.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Welcome to Lake Orion and to the Orion Outreach Show. So we're going to start with eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Jared. So tell us a little history of Young Life since you are one of the leaders.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yes.
Young Life has been around since 1941, so we're 75 plus years old. It started in Gainesville, Texas. It was started by a pastor. His name is Jim Rayburn, and he had a heart for lost kids. So he would walk past the local high school as he was hearing about the gospel every day. When he was going to Dallas Theological Seminary, his heart broke for kids. The way that he was learning about grace and hearing about Christ's love, just knowing that there were hundreds, if not thousands, of kids that were going to graduate from high school and hadn't had a chance to hear that. So he started Young Life in the 40s, and so much of what Young Life was in 1941 is still the same today. We're chasing after kids that don't know who Jesus is, and we do that by going to where they are. So our volunteers and our staff spend a lot of time at local high schools and middle schools, and they're just there to be a part of kids' lives, to serve the schools, to care for kids, and build relationships with no strings attached. And that philosophy is so much based on who Jesus was. Jesus spent time in places where he was needed, spent time with people that were often forgotten, that were lost.
Yes, he was a specializer in the outcast,
Mm-hmm.
and he caught a lot of flack for that. Yes.
Yes.
So the fact that Young Life has been around for 80 plus years gives a lot of legitimacy to the longevity of the program. And so now Lake Orion has a branch, and
Yes.
these young people, I know you're all young, are the parent, what do you call them, parent helpers?
Committee.
Parent committee.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you excited about this?
I am. I
And
can't wait to see it.
do you have
with
a high
my
schooler
kids.
yet?
I do. I have a high school student, 10th
Okay.
grader, and then I
Awesome.
also have a middle school student. So my family will be taking advantage of both programs.
That is awesome. And how about you, Tracy and Chad?
Yeah, we as well have two boys going into high school, and we next year in an elementary schooler right now. So we're hoping by the time he gets to that point, we'll be up and running.
That's awesome. So tell me how a new chapter starts, just a little bit. You have a Facebook page. I was on there. You were introduced to the Orion Township board the other day at the meeting. And you have a local website, if I recall, which is brand new, and you had an event at Camp Agawam, which is a really beautiful piece of property in Lake Orion. So tell me how that started, and then we'll get into what's coming up, because you have some great things going to happen soon.
Yeah.
You know, Tracy and I, we've been talking a lot about what it looks like for our kids in the public school. And when you really look at the kids that walk in there, there's so many kids that are hurting and broken and really need help in different ways. And we talked, and we're starting to learn more about Young Life. It kept popping up in front of us here and there, and we were going after, just searching for a little bit more. And once we reached out, we actually got connected with Jared, who has been part of Young Life for many years. And once we started hearing and understanding what Young Life was all about, we just decided, and through a lot of prayer as well, to see what we could do to bring that to Lake Orion, right? And to bring a chapter into Lake Orion, because if there's anything that we want for our kids is to help them through different struggles in their life and know that they're not alone, and that there's many kids that are just like them that are trying to navigate life. And we all know that the one true thing that can help them is a relationship with Christ.
Okay.
So that's how we got it started.
So had you known them before you got involved with Young Life?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, Tracy and I were involved in a prayer group at our elementary school. So that's how Tracy and I met each other.
A public elementary school?
Yep, at Pink
Awesome.
Creek.
It's
Yep.
like a
That is
moms,
awesome.
moms
Yep.
in prayer, and we did like an after-school
Very
program.
cool.
Yes.
Now, Jared, this is a question for you. Sometimes the public schools are a little leery of those church people. So how do you work around this?
That's a really good question. We go to the school and just say that we want to help. And I haven't met an administrator that has said we don't want help.
And you're pretty honest about
Oh yeah,
who you are.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Young Life is about Jesus, and we're not ashamed of that, and we're going to say it. But we also help administrators and teachers know that when we're coming to the school, we're coming there to care for kids.
Okay.
And that's every kid, and we're not there to necessarily even invite kids if the school is not comfortable with that. So I spent a lot of time at high school and middle school as a coach, and as someone that just helps out when a principal or teacher needs help. And we get to become a part of the fabric of the school. And so there usually is some concern as a new area begins, but as trust is built, then doors
Great.
tend to open.
As you know, people are always leery of something new that they haven't heard about.
Yeah.
So that was a question that I wanted to ask. So how many Young Lives are in the Oakland County area at the moment?
Oakland County area, I would say majority are along 696 and 96.
Okay.
So kind of the southern part of Oakland County.
Okay.
I'm the staff person for Birmingham in that surrounding area, and there's Young Life in Farmington, Novi, Southline, probably the furthest southwest in Oakland
Okay.
County. And then just dreaming big about trying to start more Young Life ministry in northern Oakland County, especially in the Lake Orion area.
Okay.
So
All right, so here's the big question. Well, this is probably going to require a long answer. So I have been involved in the Lake Orion community and a lot of the local churches. A lot of our churches, Christ the Redeemer, Catholic, St. Joseph's, Kensington has a huge presence here. The Methodist Church has great outreach programs. We have free meals for the community through Love Inc. We have all kinds of outreach. How are you going to let those people know that you're here without them feeling threatened, for lack of a better term? No, it's your question, Jared.
Oh, this is great.
I was going to say, I think we all
Here
have
you're
a piece of
brand new.
this.
Yes,
So
I think-
Yes, we could all
I think it's
answer that,
good.
but
Yes.
you get to start.
I would love to. We're trying to build Jesus' kingdom, and wholeheartedly believe that Kensington and the Methodist Church and Woodside and the Catholic Church are trying to build God's kingdom. And man, we just want to partner with those other churches. Young Life's mission is to introduce disinterested kids in the gospel of Jesus Christ. Our staff and volunteers go to where kids are, and I know a lot of youth pastors, and I'm friends with a lot of youth pastors that don't have necessarily the space or ability to do that because they have kids coming from a variety of high schools. And so Young Life is in a unique position to focus on one high school. A staff person is in a unique position to give everything they have to care for kids in that school that aren't going to set foot in church.
Okay.
So that's, as a staff person in Birmingham, Michigan, if a kid tells me they're going to Edge on Sunday nights, which is Kensington's youth group in our area, I say, amen. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Go for it. Keep that up. And the hope is that the kids that we come to know and introduce to Jesus, that they ultimately get connected to churches in our area.
Okay.
If they have a faith background, then we really strongly encourage them to get connected back into the Catholic Church or
Okay.
back into the Methodist Church if they have a background. But a lot of the kids, they're far enough removed from church that they're coming to church with leaders or with staff people.
Okay.
So
how do you have meetings in certain places? Because if you're not a church based in one denomination or one church, how do you meet the kids? Obviously through a relationship, which is how that Jesus guy did it.
Yeah.
I call him that Jesus guy all the time.
Yeah.
We're buddies, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Is that we're not in a church, so we will utilize local families, parent committee members, we open up our houses. It's
Oh, you do?
It's
Okay.
in the basement. You cram in as many kids as you can possibly fit, and you just have a great time, right?
Okay.
Kids are all about having fun and having adventure, and all the while we're talking about grace and truth, right? So as we bring them in, it's outside of the church setting, right? Because some kids, they have zero desire to go to a church. Well, at the same time, we still want to make sure that they hear the love of Christ. you know?
Well, and as you know, in our society, there's a lot of adults that have zero desire to go to church anymore.
Yep.
So the group thing, amazingly to me, Jesus started in people's houses. They met in people's houses. They didn't have buildings. So it's kind of like a full circle back.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of amazing. So, Tracy, does that mean you have to make food for all these people if they show up
Oh
at your
yeah,
house? Okay.
I have 3 boys, so I love.
Oh, you
making
are a food maven.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
And I hope you cook too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Good. So, tell me some of the activities that you do. I saw on your website that you do a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, the premise of Young Life is to get them excited about being there. So every time they'll have a chance to hear about Jesus and how he loves them.
Okay.
But it starts with fun and
food.
excitement.
Food, fun.
And of course.
Okay.
Yes.
That is the
So.
way to most people's heart.
Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
You want it to become something food and fun.
Yes.
Fun is a great thing.
Yep.
And
I actually, any of you can answer this question. I have learned over many years, Jesus had to be fun.
For sure.
Because nobody wants to hang out with somebody who's serious all the time. And he must have had a great personality, and he was fun to be with because people kept coming.
Yeah.
And not a lot of churches have that. You don't hear that in the homily very often, that Jesus was a fun guy. And he was always getting in trouble because he was hanging out with the quote-unquote wrong people.
Yeah.
So I kind of like this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
fun.
think
Jesus and fun could be in the same sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And should be.
Yeah, and I can mention, so what we would do, example, Monday night is club. Young
Okay.
Life has club, and club is when kids gather, and most likely in a home. If we outgrow a home, if there's a basement that can fit 70 kids, then we'll look at other options, but it's almost always in a home. And it's an hour, it's a party with a purpose, and kids get to hear the good news. We also have camp, and Young Life has done camp for a lot of years, and they're resort quality camps because the founder of Young Life, Jim, said, if Disney can do Young Life, if Disney can do, what is it?
Disney World or
Excellence for profit.
Thank you. I've said it so many times. I don't know why I'm saying it.
yeah.
That's okay.
If Disney can do excellence for profit, we can do excellence for Jesus.
I
And
love
so
that. Well, there's books on
we-
how to do everything the Disney way. So
Try, yeah. So Young Life camps, although they're called camps, we try to just give kids the best week of their life, and we tell them that, and we prove it. And everything at Young Life camp points kids to Jesus. So there's a Young Life camp in Michigan, in Lake City. It's near Cadillac, called Timberwolf Lake.
okay.
And I know some of the churches in the local area use it during the school year for weekend camps, for men's, for youth retreats, that kind of thing. But Young Life Camp is just a beautiful, and what we say, it's a thin place. When you're at Young Life Camp, it feels like you're close to heaven. And kids say that, even if they don't totally understand that it's Jesus, they feel that community. It's like no other place.
Is it
So-
aesthetically beautiful?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, aesthetically
Alright.
beautiful, and there are high school students that are serving for a month that serve kids food. They eat family-style dinners.
Okay.
That are cleaning up after them, that are making sure the grounds are beautiful. There are college students that volunteer for a month that are helping them do the ropes course and encouraging them as they go tubing for the first time, whatever it is. And then a whole lot of other people that are just working so hard to point kids towards Jesus.
So do the camp runs, a lot of people here in Lake Orion go to Spring Hill Camp. A lot of people know about Spring Hill. It's a week long, and then do you run it as soon as the summer starts, after school is over, all the way through the whole summer?
Yeah, so it goes, Timberwolf will start before school ends in Michigan because there are other areas
That are
from
done sooner,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. So it'll start earlier in June. and it'll go usually into the first week of August, and then most likely ends then because that's when high school sports start, so tryouts will begin.
Yes,
But
it's true.
It's very much, what makes Young Life Camp unique is that you go with the people that you know. So I will take my Birmingham students, Lake Orion will go together, and the leaders that take kids to camp will come home with kids. So it's a relationship building week that you know your leader before, you know your leader even better, and you get to come home with your leader that's going to follow up with you and make sure that you are cared for and following Jesus if you make that decision
Wonderful.
to follow Christ.
So I do have a high school senior, and that's quite a feat to get a child all the way from the beginning of high school to the end, because there's a lot of things that can happen. But in time, sometimes kids can't talk to their parents because it's too hard.
Yeah.
And so to have another person that is a safe zone, and I've told my daughter that if you can't tell me something, find another adult to talk to, just because. And I did discover through conferences, I always go to conferences, not because she's bad, but because I get to hear from somebody else how good she is.
Yeah.
Anyway, all through her schooling, she had one teacher that she would confide in, and I never knew who it was until I went to conferences. And the teacher would always just sort of mention it. Oh, yeah. So that's a wonderful thing. Yeah. So I have a question. I know that using the word target market is a Disney word because everyone has a target. But who is the child that would be most likely to be the most benefited from what you do as a heart ministry, this is a heart ministry?
I mean, I would definitely say it's for any of the kids, right? It's for any of them. But if you want to narrow it down, it's for the ones who don't know Christ, has never had a relationship with him. But at the same point, it's for the kids that are together in school, and it helps them know that they have a common bond, right? And for the ones who do know Christ, it's that common bond of Christ. And then it's also reaching the ones who don't know. So if you really want to put it down to a single point, it's targeting the kids that would have never had a chance to hear about Christ's love, and it's really just sharing with them and how they can grow in their faith.
And not inviting them to a church building, inviting them into an event that is fun and involves other things.
Yeah, it's building the relationships. And sorry, Erica, but I would only say that it's not just a be-all, end-all, that it doesn't end up in church, because there's a lot of benefits to, once you do know Christ, of getting part of that local body of believers in a church. So, yeah.
Okay. So you have young people. Do they attend a church with you?
Yep, we do. So we are actively involved in our church.
And what keeps them coming? Because that's really, you guys are kind of cutting the line between going to church, knowing Jesus, because you certainly can know Jesus without going to a church.
Yeah.
And I grew up in churches, and other people do, but there are families that don't do church.
Yeah.
And so, how yours do? What about the kids that have zero experience, never gone to church?
And that's wonderful. What a great opportunity for us to just be a light to others and to love on each other.
Okay.
And to develop those. It's really about relationship. It goes back to that, and knowing that there's someone else that cares about you and has your back.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the Lake Orion area. It's been great to have all of you here. Do you have any questions for me?
No, but I do want to share as we continue to fundraise and raise funds to bring on a full-time staff, Young Life staff person. We're having a 5K race, and
That's right,
that is
you
coming
are.
up on May 4th, and we're going to have that at Friendship Park. So you can go and you can sign up now.
So what time is
Everything
it? Give me all the great details.
Yeah, it's you can sign up on the registration. All opens that morning by 7 a.m. and then the race will we're going to do a 1 mile fun run for families and kids that are younger that can't do the full 5K. So we're going to start that at 8 o'clock, and then the 5K race is going to start at 8:20.
Are there
So-
walkers allowed also?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, this is great.
Good.
It's going to be a fun, exciting time out at Friendship Park, and we're looking for
That's a
lot
Saturday,
of-
correct?
Yeah.
Saturday, May
Yep.
the 4th.
Yep.
Yep.
Registration at 7. Do you get a T-shirt?
Yes,
get
you
it.
do.
You do?
Well, we have guaranteed T-shirt sizes if you sign up ahead of time.
Okay.
And the morning of,
Okay.
hopefully
you
we'll
have a-
have them for you in the right
Great.
size.
You have a Facebook page
Yes.
called.
Young
Like
Life Lake Orion.
Okay. And you can register online.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
You can
great.
register online.
And the
takes
event
you-
is connected right on the Facebook
Yeah.
page.
And have you prayed about good weather for that day?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
I don't
But
run
come
in the
rain or shine, come join us.
I did walk in 90-degree weather for the Orion Memorial, the Veterans Memorial. It was 90. That was not fun.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good time.
So,
It's all
okay.
a good time.
Wonderful. And then your Facebook page will be access to other things and events and
Yeah.
okay.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much, all of you, for being
Thank
here
you.
on the show and bringing something new to the Lake Orion community.
Thank you very much
Yes.
for having us.
Thank you. So this concludes our session today for Orion Outreach. We're grateful to have the people from Young Life here, and have a beautiful weekend.